Hello, I'm your host Angel Hernandez for Spot 127, and today I'm joined by Mark, Mileena, Tate, and Yvonne. Recently, a Chinese doctor named He Jiankui performed an illegal experiment on 2 fetuses. Using CRISPR, he altered their DNA to prevent HIV. As a result, questions have come to light regarding the ethics behind genetic engineering. Let's begin with your opinions on the event. What do you think, Mileena?
I don't view what Dr. He did as wrong because in total, he wasn't trying to become famous. He wasn't trying to get any publicity for what he did. He was truly just looking out for the 2 twin girls, Lulu and Nana, and how they would have been discriminated against if they still had HIV. Like in China, they wouldn't have a job, they wouldn't be sterilized, and they wouldn't have healthcare providers.
I think I just don't know if it's really the right or the wrong thing, because sure, ethically you can say he was helping the babies, but also what he was doing was illegal. And I think in my book, and obviously in the laws and stuff, it was wrong because he did it, his lab did it independently and without permission. So I think what he did was wrong.
Tate?
Well, I do agree with Yvonne in the aspect that what he did was illegal, but I think for the cause that he did it for, which was to cure the HIV in these little girls, was like selfless, and I think it was inherently right and kind of like bettered his wrong.
Mark?
I agree. He should really be commended. Not only did he risk his career to help those kids, but he also brought attention to the issue, something that really needs to be discussed, and I think that's worth breaking the law for.
Since you guys have kind of mixed opinions on the topic, where do you guys think we should draw the line?
I believe finding a place to draw the line is going to be a very difficult thing because not everyone wants the same result as... Because for me, I wouldn't want people to use it aesthetically but I think overall it's a very good thing. Like genetic engineering is going to be the future of medicine because that's the only way we can find a cure. But with people like Yvonne, like they find a hard place to stand.
Would you guys use CRISPR on your kids in the future when it becomes available, if it becomes available?
Well, I would not use CRISPR as of right now until there's further research done on the topic to prove that the long-term effects aren't bad or aren't fatal. And until that research is done, I would not do this to my children. But if the research is done and it proves that it is okay to be done on fetuses and there's no long-term poor aspect, then I would definitely consider doing it.
How do you think this will affect us in the future, when this kind of technology is just available for anyone?
I, for one, am concerned about the social effects of the widespread use of genetic engineering. I see that in the future, there could be a social divide between those who can be genetically engineered and those who cannot.
What are the ethical concerns that you guys are worried about?
Well, I think there definitely is a line as to where it should be used, and I think that line is right about where you get to, from curing diseases to getting desirable features and changing the appearance of a child. And I think that's where it should be drawn. I don't think you should be necessarily allowed to change how your child will look in his or her future. But I do think that it is okay to help cure diseases that are fatal or chronic and to put an end to such diseases.
So since we're talking kind of about the social concerns, do you guys think that the people that can afford to genetically engineer their kids for aesthetics should be able to do it? Or do you guys think that where we should draw the line should be definitive, like only for medical purposes and that's it for everyone?
I think that it should, that's when the whole, what Mark was talking about, that whole social divide comes in, is if only the people who can afford it can have it done. And I think if it is going to be used in our country and in the world even, it should be open for everybody, because then we start seeing that social divide and that whole this side's better because we have the money, and not only that, but then it's going to turn to this whole thing that they have the privilege to live without disease. So
Do you guys have any last thoughts?
I think that maybe there shouldn't be a line, because there's so many incredible possibilities. People could be physically and mentally superior to what they are now, immune to all diseases and disabilities. The possibilities are endless, and we'll only see those possibilities if we just give this a chance. Maybe it'll fail. Maybe social divide will in fact arise. Then we can outlaw it then. But for now, let's just give it a shot.
I agree with Mark. We won't be able to see the long-term effects until we actually try it out.
I think that as long as it's being used for good, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, but I also think that scientists should consider that our overpopulation issue and how that may affect that.
Yeah, I think it could be a really effective use of our tools to help eradicate horrible diseases. But I also agree with like what Mark and Yvonne was saying about how it could create like yet another huge social divide in this country, or in every country.
Thank you for tuning in to our episode of SPOTcast. I would like to thank my guests for being here.
Mark Simonson.
Mileena Reyes Cabrera.
Yvonne Moreira Andrade.
And Tate Peterson.
And I'm Angel Hernandez for Spot 127.